Today I'm just going to show you how I've converted my raw image that I took of Berlin Gap sunset to the final JPEG image. I put on my website and Facebook page. Quite a few people have asked how did I get the final results and could I show them, so I'm just going to go through this with you. So at the minute I've got Bridge open in Photoshop, and I'm just going to double click on the image that I'm going to do the conversion to. Okay, and here's the start. So to start with, I'm going to go to the white balance, and I'm going to change that to shade, and all that does, it just warms it up a little bit. And from there I'm going to get the exposure slider, and I'm going to just bring that right up, because all I'm going to do on this part of the raw conversion is just look at the foreground. All I'm interested is here. I'm going to deal with this lot later, but I'm going to deal with this area here, the foreground. So I just want to brighten that up so I can just see some details in the rocks and the sea sort of going over the rocks. Contrast I'll come back to in a minute. Highlights I'm going to go right down to minus 100. Shadows up to plus 100, so we can get all those details there. And I'm just going to go back to my exposure and just drop that down a little bit because it's a little bit too bright at the minute. Whites, check that. All I do is hold the Alt key down while I click on the whites, and I'm going to just take that right over to the left until we can lose that bit of burn where it's burnt out. It looks like here I'm going to go all the way to 100%, which I'm quite happy with. That's fine. And blacks, again, hold down the Alt key and bring that down to the left again, and you can see the start. There's getting some colouring coming in. Now once it starts to hit the blacks on that, that's where I'm going to just stop. So some of these areas are just starting to go black, so I'm going to stop there because I'm quite happy to have some sort of complete blacks within this image. So that's not a problem at all to me. Clarity, I'm going to hit the clarity up just to bring out details. We will be increasing the details in Photoshop as well, but just as a base in the clarity, I'm just going to bring that up to about plus 40. Vibrance I'm going to bring up, which brings up all the colours. Well, it's mainly for sort of the mid-tone colours, so we're going to just boost them up. And again, we're going to bring them up to about 38 to 40. Saturation, about 5's fine. So that's fine, okay. So I'm quite happy with that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open that up into Photoshop. So what I'm going to do, where we got down the open image here, if you hold down the Shift key, we're going to change that and change that to Open Object. So that's going to take me into Photoshop now. Now I work on two screens, so what I'm going to be doing is dragging the information across from my other screen so you can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm going to bring the layers across here. As you can see, we've got that open as a smart object, and all I'm going to do is right click within the area where it's got the Sunset 0033 and New Smart Object via Copy, and I'm just going to copy that. And again, this time I'm going to double click, and that's going to go back into Camera Raw again. And what we're going to be looking at now is this top. I'm happy with the bottom, so I want to change the top a bit. So I'm going to get the exposure, and we're going to bring that down, so we can get these nice deep colours starting to come here. So as I said, I'm quite happy with that being a bit darker. Get the deep colours, just boost the contrast a little bit there. That's nice. And then what I'm going to do then is up here in the right hand side, you can see I'm going to go to the HSL grayscale, hit that, and I'm going to start with the luminance here, and with the reds, oranges and yellows, which are the main ones here, I'm going to just take them down a minus, and you can see that sort of darkens them up a little bit. So I'm just going to drop these down a little bit, probably about around the 20s, reds, and again with the oranges and the yellows as well, just drop them all down, sort of around about the 20 mark. And then next I'm going to go in the saturation. I'm going to boost the red saturation a bit, get that nice. I mean, we can go too far, but I'm going to bring that to around about 30. Orange, it's at 24, and the yellows, we're just going to boost the saturation in that. Okay, I'm quite happy with that now, so I'm going to go back into Photoshop by just clicking on OK. Okay, so now that's the conversion I've just done, and that's the one beneath. So what I'm going to do now then is go down to the layer mask, add a layer mask for this. Make sure I've got the default of black and white set for my colours, and I'm going to go to the gradient tool over here. With the gradient tool, I'm going to just bring the having black as a foreground colour, is bring the details back on here. And again, holding the shift key, I'm just going to pull up a little bit, and that's just going to bring those details back into the foreground. If I did it a longer one, you see the gradient's much sort of more subtle. It blends in better, but I want the details from round about here coming back in, because I've got this rock here and stuff. So I'm going to just pop that to about there. I want to keep these nice bright lights. So as you see, I've got that sorted now, so I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to go to flatten the image. Okay, now we've got the image flattened. I'm going to Command J to duplicate the image, and then I'm going to go across to Filter, Other, and High Pass. Now on the high pass here, I'm going to bring out the details and all the rocks. I'm not too worried about clouds and stuff, it's really the rocks. So around about the radius of, I'm going to actually boost that up a little bit to where it was, 5.8, 5.6. Okay, that. Now what we need to do is change the blending mode here now. So I'm going to go from normal, and we're going to go to hard light. And that's going to really bring out the details down on the rocks here. If I just toggle on and off there, you can see it's brought out the detail, and it's actually brought out the reflection. You can also see some oranges coming on there, where it's actually the wet rocks have picked up on the sun where it's setting. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to Command E to flatten that layer. So that's looking pretty good at the minute, so I'm pretty happy with that. What I want to do now is I need to bring my adjustment panel over so you can see. The adjustment panel, I'm just going to hit black and white and give that a black and white layer. And with this, I'm going to change this one now to soft light. And again, with soft light, you can see toggle on and off. That's really made a nice big improvement to the sunset area. It's darkened everything else down, so I don't want that. I just want this area nice and dark. It could be a little bit over dark, so on the opacity, I'm just going to bring that down a bit, but all I'm looking at again is just that sunset area at the minute. This is where I want it to really show. So with this, I'm going to hit B for brush and take a nice large brush here, and I've got my opacity set at 32 and the flow 66, and all I'm going to do now is paint back this layer underneath. So if I show you the layer underneath, because I want these details back in the rocks and stuff here, so I'm just going to paint a few strokes across here just to get these back, but nice soft 100% softness, and we can bring this detail back, but we're not going to touch that sunset. And again with the clouds, I'm just going to paint a little bit. I quite like this dark over here, so I'm going to paint the cloud details back, but leaving the sunset there. If you see up in here, if I just it's just actually adding it to it now. That's it finished. If I press the Alt key into the layer mask box, you can see all the areas I've darkened down, and these are the areas that I've left. I should say lightened up. These are the areas I've left as they were. So that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to Command E to flatten the layer. I'm quite happy with that now. Now the other thing I'm noticing here is that I want this horizon line nice and level. We don't want it sort of sloping down to the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here. So it works a little bit slow when I'm doing the screen recording, so just have to bear with me while I'm getting these. Let's just move it around a bit and let's go back on there. Here we go. I'm going to grab the ruler tool. I'm just going to look along my horizon there. It's because it's dark and find it difficult to see, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to lighten that up. All I'm going to do is Command J, and I'm going to just go screen. That's it, nice and light. This is just a temporary measure, just so I can see what I'm doing here. And now on the horizon, I'm just going to click on the horizon with the ruler tool and just drag. It's just slightly under there, so I'm going to just go, that's part of the cliffs over there, so I'm just going to go to the horizon line about here. It's just, as I say, just slightly under. So I reckon about there. Once I've got that in, I'm going to go to Image, and then I'm going to go to Rotate Canvas and Arbitrary. Click on that, and that's telling me the angle, and it's going to flip it counterclockwise, which is what I want to do. And in a moment, that's going to just do that for me. Rotate Canvas, and that's leveled it up now. And I'm just going to get rid of that screen layer by just highlighting it and hitting the backspace. And we've gone back to the original. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to crop this image now. So I'm going to hit C for crop tool, and I've got it set here for 12 inches. But if I go down to here, that's 12 by 8, which is what I normally sort of a crop, but I want to get a bit of a different sort of look to this. So I'm going to highlight the 8 inches and just delete that, and then I can then pull the crop tool down. I know it's going to be 12 inches wide, and the height, not too worried about. I'm going to just drag this in a little bit, not all the way. I've got some white showing there. I can bring this in a little bit here. But I'm quite happy. I'm looking at that crop and I'm quite happy with that. So I've cropped it. When I've cropped it, you can see I've got some white underneath. Where it's flipped the canvas, we've lost some of the detail, some of the picture. So all I'm going to do is going to go to my lasso tool, hit the polygonal lasso tool, and I'm just going to go around these areas here where it's white. And once I've done that, all I do is hit the Shift backspace, and you get the fill dialog box come up. I've got the content aware ready, so I'm just going to OK that, and that's filled that quite nicely. All I'm going to do is just go around these edges now and just grab these bits, and again Shift backspace, and that's OK for that one and the last one. And this does a pretty good job actually, so even with the pebbles here, that should do quite a nice fill. And I'll just check that in a moment once I've just done this last bit down the bottom left. Shift backspace, content aware. With Command D, just deselect that, and I'm just going to again Command and the plus key, and that'll just zoom us in nice and close. And holding down the space bar at the bottom, you can then just get the little handle comes up, and you can just move this along, and I can see where we've added, and that's done a pretty good job there. It's sort of duplicated this rock here and here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get the spot healing brush here, and I'm going to go to this one here, the one above it, and I'm just going to go around that and there, and that's picked up a different one, so that's going to do it. So let's go back down to this one. That's good, that's got rid of that one. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So again, Command and the minus, and that just brings us back down. So that's all looking pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. What I may do now is I may just sort of look at things like possibly I'm going to bring the adjustment brushes over, adjustments, so you can see, pick up on the curves and just see if the curves just by, I'm going to have to bring it across again, possibly dragging that down and up if that's going to make, yeah, I think there's too much contrast on that there. It's not too bad, it's not too bad. So again, what I'll do is I'll keep that, just drag these out of my way again, but then I'm going to just reduce the opacity down, so I'll take it to 0 and then just bring it up a little bit. Command D, that flattens it. And that's pretty much it. I'm quite happy with that now. I think that's quite a nice image. So if we look at the finished one here, and I did have the original open, the original out of camera shot open as well. So that's how it was. Quite a dirty, murky looking sort of image. And just in camera raw and a little bit of Photoshop, we managed to boost that to looking like quite a nice sunset. Details in the rocks, which I'm happy with, and also we've got the nice deep sunset as well. What we could do if we wanted to is possibly lighten up that by maybe doing something like if we Command J, go to screen, which we're going to lighten up again, and if we give this a mask, a layer mask, but holding the Alt key down, we're just going to completely hide it with a black, so that takes that back to the original. And we can zoom in, go to this rock here, and taking a brush, B for brush, again we've got the opacity at 32, which is quite just what I want, so I'm going to reduce the brush size down by using the bracket key, the left bracket key, just to bring this right down. It's going to just take a moment, probably go too, there we go, and just using that small, I may just need to change. Again, if by using X we're changing over here, we're changing the foreground colour, so we're changing that to white because we're painting onto a black layer, and I'm just going to just bring back a few details in this rock here that we lost and just paint them back in. A very subtle difference, but still to me an important one, so you could take your time a little bit longer, make sure you don't go around to the edges. Command E, and that's it, that's the finished image. And as I said before, is that one, and here we have the after, so before and after.